Nathan, good to see you.
How are you doing?
You started the season by retiring,
Yeah.
and then within about 24 hours you unretired. Can you take us back to that and explain what happened?
Well, just meeting Gaffer over the summer, we had a talk about which way he wanted to go. They was going full time. I thought I was probably getting to an age where being realistic with my body, going on the season before, I don't know if I would be able to handle a full-time situation. I did say if he wanted to, I don't mind, I'll put my body through it, but at the same time, like, I've got outside ambitions, going to go on a different career path as well. So I was 35 at the time, and I probably thought this is the right time in it. If I can't dedicate full-time properly physically, then I understand that the situation, and he was at agreement. He was just like, look, going full-time and there's probably a different way I want to go. So he offered me to be his head scout for the club, which fit in with what I do anyway. So I took that situation up on. So that was the plan. So come in first week of pre-season, and I was around seeing all the new boys come in, well, talking to everyone, still being who I am. I just joined in a bit, ticking over in it because I can still compete. And then yeah, we played, if I remember right, the first week of pre-season we played West Brom, and probably not everyone was up to full fitness, and he asked me if I could do 45 minutes. So I was like, well, I've just told everyone I've retired, but I'm a team player in it. To me it was just words, and that was probably my thinking at the time. But if I can help out in any way, I'll still help out, and that was the situation.
So basically you never did retire, really, obviously. You just kept going, but you changed the colour of your top.
Yeah, that's how it's looked in the end. But the plan was to probably call it a day, but being around the club and seeing the boys, and then him probably seeing that I can still play to a certain level, he probably trusted me enough to, can I still do it? And I don't mind it. Like, I knew week in, week out, my body probably couldn't do it to the level I'd wanted to. So if it was just a filler hair, stopgap hair, I can still help out. Sure.
Let's remind people that for the past few years you've actually been scouting already, haven't you, for Manchester City?
Yeah, I did.
Is that the sort of London and South East area altogether?
Yeah, well, I cover, that's my main South East of England, but it cross-references over the whole country, to be honest. Do it from 13s to the 23s, so I'm familiar with that background. Been doing it since late 2018.
Right. So obviously you got the experience and so on for that, which made it legitimate for you to become not just a scout but head of scouting for the club.
Yeah, me and Gaffer spoke a lot. I've been with Gaffer for many years, whether it's been at Woking or at previous clubs, so he understands me, I understand him. I know the type of profile player he probably would want. We both have a good talk about football, so for what I do with Man City and then taking it into this situation, he trusts me and I trust him, and it just worked well.
So the Man City role is still going?
Okay, yeah, that still goes.
That fits together.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's a sort of typical week? Because every time I come to training you're here. I do see you at a number of games on Saturdays as well.
It varies because I do a lot of opposition scouting as well, so I'll go out to a lot of games to see who are playing, what they've been doing, how can we combat them. But we have a lot of a video system as well, so there's certain games I won't need to go to because I can watch it back on the video and see how they operate. So on a day-to-day basis, me coming into training, that's just optional really. Coming in, if there's new boys coming in, I'd like to see how they're interacting with the boys. If it just fits my scenario where I can come in and see what's happening on the training field, then I'll come in. If I can't make it, then there's nothing lost there. So with me coming into training, that's literally an optional thing, but I like to be as much as possible to be part of the team and see what's going on. And then on a match day, there are certain match days I'm not here because I'll be out doing opposition scouting, and then there's going to be times where I'm with the boys because just needed around the camp, and then I'd watch back on video other teams that I've played on the weekend.
Right. So when, let's say you've gone to Barnet to watch Barnet play someone on a Saturday when we're away up north. Yeah. What do you produce as a result of that for Douse and Ian?
So it's just we work off a template that Ian's drew up. So I would go to a game and I'll just look at formation, players, who's been playing, where they play, who's been out, who got suspended, who got booked, how they're likely to set up against us, where their weaknesses are, where their strengths are, how we can exploit them, what we should look out for. So it's just to give them an idea of what they've done against previous oppositions and what type of systems they play. So then it allows us to work in training of how we're going to set up against them and what to look out for, and then exploit their weaknesses. And then Ian does a lot of video analysis himself. He will go back even further than me, rather than watching just their previous game. He will watch a lot of games. So between all of us, we put all of our information gathering together, and then we go into the weekend and see how we can win the game.
Sure, right. Okay, that's very clear. And so there's opposition scouting, but there's also potential recruitment scouting as well. So do you go and watch a lot of Premier League under-23 games and that sort of thing?
That works hand in hand with my job at City anyway. So I'll have good knowledge of the under-23 market. So I watch a lot of that. So I would come across a lot of players that I would know of already. So then with Woking, depending if Gaffer says we need a player in X, Y and Z position, then I would set my targets to go and look at certain teams who I feel have the players that fit the criteria we need.
Right. Okay. And you said you were, when you retired, before you spoke to Douse, you were looking to go in a different direction. Was that still within football?
Yeah, still within football. So obviously, when I did make the decision to do scouting with Man City, my long-term option was to become the best I could be as a scout in a full-time capacity. So with Man City, obviously when I was playing football, it was part-time, and they're a big club in it. So for me to get a full-time opportunity with them, I'd probably have to be more free and more be more reliable to get to games, because with football I wasn't able to get to many games. So I was working with them part-time. So when I was getting to the age of deciding to retire, I thought if I stop playing football, it'll give me more time to work with Man City to get my development up, to go into a full-time opportunity when the opportunity arises. So then when Das offered me this job, I spoke to City and they said, look, it works hand in hand. At the moment there's no full-time positions available, so they didn't mind me doing this and that at the same time.
And it's of course giving you valuable experience and filling your portfolio.
There you go.
Do you ever think about, because you do get involved in training, you join in some of the sessions as a player if you like, but you do a little bit of coaching and overseeing and supervising as well. Do you see yourself going in that direction possibly?
Well, it's the love of the game, and you love football. When people asked me to, I want to take my coaching badges, I probably just thought no, I didn't see the joy in maybe going through the child age. So I didn't imagine coaching through 12s and 10 years old, and that's where a lot of people start. So it didn't really click to me, but being around it now, I feel like I've done the scouting side, I've done the playing bit. It only makes sense to probably do the coaching side of it, and then it's just something else you've got as an option as your career goes on. So it's something I'm looking into.
Okay. And on a personal level, how's your family? You've got your 3 little girls, haven't you?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, everyone's fine. Yeah, my oldest one's just started secondary school.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's fine. She's just getting old, and then my middle child's 7, youngest is 4. So yeah, everything's well at home.
Is the 4-year-old at school yet, or next year?
No, she's at next year. She's in nursery still.
Right.
So yeah, everyone's fine at home.
So it's a busy household.
Very busy, and they're always.
And you're the only male in it.
Yeah, they're fed up with me anyway. So I'm always out. I'm always out working. Football games take me all across the country. So yeah, I value when I can be at home with them. It's good times because they miss me.
Sure, absolutely. And lastly, this is something I have mentioned to you before. One of my interviews with Douse, I was talking about the fact that he didn't have a keeper on the bench when Smudger was injured, and I said, who would you put in goal there? Who would go in goal if Rossi got hurt in a match? And the story tells itself. The answer was you.
Yeah.
And I asked you how you felt about that.
Well, I wouldn't mind it, to be fair. Looking back at my football career, I've played every single position, and I say that other than goalkeeper. So if that opportunity came, it's one thing I'd love to tick off just to say I've done it.
It'd be a great tick, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
And the reason he said that is because he said this also in the interview, that nothing bothers you, nothing phases you. You'd cope with it without a problem.
It's football for me, innit? I grew up playing football all my life, and I wasn't just I want to be a goal scorer. I just love playing football. So I think as my game developed, I understood a lot of other positions. And if someone asks you can you play there? Just go and play there, innit? Because I love the game so much. So I think I'd relish doing the same thing in goal. I'll keep playing goal, but all right then. It's just I've seen goalkeepers do it all my life, so it's something I'll just jump into.
Sure. But when we talked about it before, we did observe that in order for you to do this, he'd have to name you on the bench. So next time a keeper gets injured and all of a sudden you find yourself as substitute, you'll have an idea why.
There you go. I'll jump into that opportunity.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for your time. It's good to see you.
No worries. Thank you, David.
Please remember to like and subscribe to Woking Football Club.